Hey guys, welcome back to another little mini chit chat video. Excuse me. Welcome back to another little mini reaction video. I'm coming down with seasonal allergies, guys, so just bear with me if I sound a little sniffly, I'm a little congested. That's what that is, and a mixture of the weather is changing and everybody's sick, so it's kind of, it's one of those things. So, before we go ahead and get into today's topic, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Shout out to all our Purple Heart members. We really appreciate you guys. You will see this video once it re-uploads to YouTube if you didn't have a chance to make the live. So, thank you for your support in advance. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the two giveaways we have going on the channel before we jump into today's topic. So, excuse me. First giveaway I want to talk about is the Road to 1000 subby giveaway on this channel. Super excited about that. We are almost there. We're on the way. Shout out to everyone who has subscribed. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for joining the family. So, we are doing a Uber Eats gift card giveaway for that milestone. A couple stipulations to that, because I am located in Canada, so the gift card is only valid in Canada. It is an electronic gift card, so you need to have a valid email address in order to receive the gift card. If you guys are familiar with buying gift cards online, then you understand what I'm saying when I talk about an electronic gift card. You can purchase it either for yourself or gift it to someone else, and you send it via email. And it's something that you would keep on your phone to, you guys know. So that's basically what that is. So the stipulations again for that particular giveaway is you must have a valid email address and you must reside in Canada. Okay, so the second giveaway that we have going on is the watch time giveaway. Another giveaway that we like to do, kind of our way of giving back. Thank you guys for your support. So yeah, so all we ask is that you watch the videos all the way through, leave comment after, comment purple hearts, and we'll know you guys have joined the gang and you will be entered into the cash prize giveaway. So this one is for everyone, it's not specific. You don't just have to live in the country, you can live out of country. There is one stipulation for this particular giveaway. You must have access to Western Union to receive the money transfer. We don't have cash app. We don't have Cash App over here. We use Western Union or PayPal, and I prefer to use Western Union. So you must have access to that valid government ID so you can pick up your cash prize. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into today's topic. So I woke up to this bombshell. Apparently, Trump has canceled the trade talks with Canada, because Ontario, the province in which I live, ran an ad using snippets of Ronald Reagan. So it's an old ad. Well, it's a new ad for us, but it's an old video where he was talking about tariffs and why they're bad for the economy and the negative impact it will have on society as a whole, getting into a trade war. So, of course, they're not going to like that at all. So, yep, talks are off. So that's kind of, Trump's way of saying, put your dog back on the leash type of thing. Because, Doug Ford, which is our premier of Ontario, has zero filter. Kind of like that. There's another guy, I forget, he's out west, but no filter when it comes to, speaking their mind and how they feel about being bullied, and very vocal about it. And so that's not going to be received well, obviously. So yeah, that's where we are. Trade talks are off, which sucks for you know, the economy, the country as a whole, but um, it's not as dire as all that. But if you are in the auto sector, then it definitely is very um, detrimental to that particular sector. We just had a whole thing over here with Stellantis, this company. I don't know what they had a deal with the government. They receive they were to receive lots of money. They were to receive lots of money. Part of the agreement was to keep the plants in Windsor, Ontario open, and another auto plant manufacturing facility open. And what ended up happening was they ended up moving their operations back to the United States, or moving it to the United States. I'm not sure if I think they're an American company, moving it back to the United States. And basically, all the workers are up the creek without a paddle, so to speak, which was not part of the agreement when they received the large sums of money from the province. So the premier had been threatening to withhold the funds and all this stuff back and forth. The politicking is politicking. So there's that going on. So I'm assuming the trade talks was aimed in there somewhere, kind of, getting that kind of ironed out, kind of seeing what they can do for the workers that's been left high and dry, because of the kind of backdooring of the deal. So that's gonna be definitely affected. Now, I want to be completely honest. I want to be completely honest. In the day to day lives of most people, you don't really. I mean, when they said trade war, it kind of jolted me, like, oh, we're still going through that. Not that it's not affecting anything, but I feel like it's like I always say, everything globally is just a hot mess. Like, everything is terrible everywhere you look, every country. Hey, look, Europe is like going through it. Okay, everywhere. So it's like the effect of things just feels different. It's starting to actually feel normal. The struggle starting to feel normal, which is unfortunate. That's not a good sign, right? Society is getting used to living in this type of pressure cooker environment. So, you know, it's kind of like, if you're a Russia and you're saying like, yeah, what's one more sanction, whatever, just kind of pile it on there, whatever, just leave it over there with the rest of them, type of vibe. um, it's kind of like that with the whole cutting off the trade talks and stuff like that. It's just one more thing on a very long, 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 long list of things. So it's starting to kind of just, you know what I mean? It's become par for the course, unfortunately. I mean, the politicians will do what they do, right? That's kind of like their job and their thing. And we kind of just let them do their thing, because the day to day life of Canadians don't revolve around politics. And I think that's the very big difference between Canada and the United States. Like, we don't eat and sleep politics. The news is actually quite boring from time to time, right? We'll have a few things going on now, obviously, with everything how it is globally, we have a lot more going on. But in terms of the day to day life of people, unless, of course, like I said, you're in these particular sectors that are being affected by these trade disruptions and all this trade talks and all this stuff, then definitely, you definitely are going through some stuff. But our country is really good at backing people up. When you fall on hard times, there's resources provided through the government, many government programs to help with this type of situation. Um, Kind of like they did with COVID. I know a lot of people in the States were like, you were getting a check? Yes, the government was giving out, I think it was $1,200, $1,200 a month, to people who were not able to go to work because of COVID. And we pay high taxes so that the government can afford to bail you out when you fall on hard times. That is kind of part of our European heritage. If you'd say, a lot of European countries have these type of high taxes, but many amenities for those taxes. So the government is able to step in depending on what province you live in and provide financial aid in times of need. So thank God for that. And thank God we're not, consumed by politics. This country would be like up in flames. We just the population is just too small for all of that. The day-to-day life of people here is hard work. Like, you have to get up and go to work. That's why we don't be in the streets with the protesting and, the this and the that. We protest in other ways that's unique to our culture. We may not be in the streets burning buildings down and chanting and screaming and shouting, but we do protest in our way. But at the end of the day, we still have to get up and go to work. So most people just, put on your big boy pants and get on with it. Winter is coming. There's lots to be done. People got to go to work. So the life, like our lives, don't stop because of the news cycle. We have confidence, most people, lately over the last couple of years, due to politics, it's not been as strong as it usually is, but you will still find during tough times, like you found when the trade stuff started, even though Justin Trudeau's rating was in the toilet, the country still rallied around him when he was being attacked by Donald Trump. So that's kind of like the Canadian way. It doesn't matter what differences we have. Alberta is pissed. They don't like Ontario, what we're doing, or Quebec and this and that. It doesn't matter whatever differences we have between provinces. At the end of the day, as a country, we will always stand together. It would be very strange to break with that tradition, um because that it is. We are in this together, no matter where you are located. So we have confidence that the politicians will get it done. They always do. And so we get on with life, and we'll catch it on the news or something. So that's just kind of my personal feedback. No, that may be me in my bubble, where I live, my life, what's going on around me. Um, but for the most part, from what I see in the province that I live in, um, it's just, you just get on with the regular day to day life. It is unfortunate that the trade talks have been called off, because there are people who are really depending on some sort of agreement to be reached out of that. So on that, that kind of sucks. But there is another element here that is a little bit closer to home. We paid $75 million for this ad. Now that's where the people in Ontario are just like, you what? We paid $75 million to run an old ad, to redo it, to make it new, to run an old message that you really didn't need to send out, because we know the tariffs are bad. We didn't need Ronald Reagan to tell us how bad it is. The auto sector kind of speaks to that. We get it. Like, the message was already received. So that was kind of like a waste of taxpayers' money. On that, I will say, like, $75 million. Come on, why would you do that? So now everybody is kind of ticked off with Doug Ford. And I feel rightly so in this moment. That's a lot of money. I just feel like that was just money thrown down the drain. Like, we didn't need that. The public is well aware and informed about what's going on in terms of tariffs and how bad it is for the economy. So that was just a waste of money, I feel. in my personal opinion. And now we have all of this coming from the states talking about, they're looking into what legal proceedings, this and that, because Ontario did not get permission to use the clips or whatever the case may be. Of course, the province is saying that they did nothing wrong. The clips were public domain, in the public domain, so it is for public use. So there was no kind of infringement there. So we'll see. That's something else again that will be hammered out in terms of the legalities. But in terms of the $75 million spent, that's kind of like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But the reason it is so upsetting, as it was stated on the news, is because the ad was aired during some type of huge sporting event, and it was seen by like 9 million people. So of course, Donald Trump is all about the views. So he didn't like that at all. The fact that it garnered that much attention kind of ticked him off. So here we are. We'll see if the gentleman can, get it together, put the egos aside, get back to the table, work it out, do their jobs. Or if we're gonna be talking about this again next week and the week after that, how long will this stalemate last? Who knows? Like, who knows, right? It's something that we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on. So let me know what you guys think down below if you've heard about this. It's a recently new development. I just found out about it this morning when I was watching CBC News. I will link the no, Global News, I'm sorry, watching Global News. I will link it in the description if anybody wants to watch that. You can, to get your own type of perspective on that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming through. It is early in the day. We appreciate your time, those of you who did stop by. um and yeah, stay up and stay blessed. We will catch you guys in another video. Deuces.